Guys, I'm so excited to be here with two of my best friends, two of my fellow label mates, and artist extraordinaires, Matt Borne and RAY.wav, also known as DJ Silenus and Arthurr Sandbox. We're here to talk about the new album, guys. I'm so excited. I'm gonna be your kind of interviewer host here, and we're gonna dig into the new collab project from both of these fellas. So let's just get into it, yeah? Let's just start at square one. I kind of want to start with just the face of this project, which is obviously the title and the names. You guys operate as Matt Bourne and RAY.wav, but here we are met with two different characters. We're talking about Arthurr Sandbox and DJ Silenus. Who are these alter egos? Why did you both feel that it was fitting to not only adopt these monikers while you were working on this project, but also to name the project explicitly after these character names? And I'm also curious, Matt, if you want to chime in on this, how the DJ Silenus character relates specifically to track six, Silenus.
Yeah, I think the character has been in development since about August 2024. So it's been a long time coming. This isn't my only, I think, future endeavors with the character, or I think I have more future endeavors with this character. And I think I was having a hard time finding a way to start to introduce this character. And Gabe and I were working on music Poster Boy, and I think this kind of just found its way in a sense. What do you think? I mean,
Yeah, well, I remember when you visited Oregon in like January. I think you were talking about it. Like you were like, I'm working on this like alter ego. I think I might want to like put stuff like make it its own, uh, like its own profile on streaming services and stuff. Like you had this idea for a long time, and honestly, I've had the name Arthur Sandbox since like 2023. I remember, so after my last solo album, Forever Is a While, I had a that was like such a big turning point for my music, and I had a bunch of stuff that's now pretty much gone off of DSPs. Like most of the music from before that album doesn't really exist online anymore. But at the time it was there, and I had this idea to like go back to these ideas that I just had. Like the idea was there, but I wasn't like proficient enough to like really execute it fully. And so I wanted to like have this kind of remix EP with like a bunch of different songs. Like I was gonna do 1:44 a.m. from Stargazer. I was gonna do something from this soundtrack that I made for a short film that I did, and just like a bunch of other things. And I wanted to be kind of like live sounding, and it was just gonna be called Arthur Sandbox. It was gonna be called like Enter the Cyber. It was something. It was very like electronic,
yeah.
very like computerized, and I don't really know where it came from. It just kind of popped in my head. So I had this guy for a long time, and when he was like, I want to do something after Poster Boy, he sent me Pale Moonlight. He was like, I'm doing cloud rap. Like I want to do like a cloud rap. Like I feel confident in this now that we tested it out on Poster Boy. Like I think we should fully go in on it. And I was like, okay, well if you're doing alter ego, like I got a guy. And it was funny because I actually didn't think that the album was going to be called that. And I didn't, at first I was like, no. I was like, I do not want it to just be called that.
I decided it. I decided
Yeah,
it.
well,
Yeah.
I didn't, but I didn't have any other name. And after a while I was like, honestly, I think it just has to be this, because like how else, I don't know. It just feels like we created this universe and it just had to be that, because we weren't going to make
Mm.
Spotify profiles for the characters.
Yeah, just to quickly go off that, I think the way we got around to doing this collab album after Poster Boy is because I think the original thought in my head was that I think the first thing that we were talking about was you possibly helping me produce my next album.
That's
Wasn't
true.
that what it was? And I
Yeah.
was gonna go with the moniker Silenus and have it be this cloud rap project. And like one of the first beats you sent me for this was Stockholm. It was kind of gonna be like a in the way that Poster Boy was Gabe's album that I had all these hidden features on. I think I at least was trying to think of like, okay, now it's like my turn, and then Gabe's gonna have all this extra production, possibly extra vocals, but then it kind of just, found its way into this collab album, which I think ended up being the best route forward.
Yeah,
Can you guys
definitely.
talk more? I don't know how much you want to share, but more about who these characters are or what they symbolize and how they're different from sort of Ray.wav and Matt Borne as artists. How these are like sort of separate personas.
Yeah. Okay. So I came up with the idea for this character who Silenus is a Greek mythology figure. He's related to Dionysus, I believe, which is the god of wine, I believe. I hope I'm right. I did my research on this, all right? I might
Yeah, he's like
He
wine and partying.
Matt sent me
yeah,
this doc he made of like all these facts about it.
yeah, yeah. So I don't have that on me. I probably should have had that prep for the interview. But I guess like going into this album under the moniker, it was less of being a character and more of being a way, or less of being like a defined character, and more of being a way to be someone that's not myself. And
Hmm.
I mean, I think the Silenus character is like the Silenus figure in mythology, which is he's always pretty much high. He's always on something. Like he's just kind of saying crazy shit all the time, but it's almost like this he has this profound he comes to these profound conclusions while under the influence of all these different substances. And I think on like Pale Moonlight, there's references, I mean, lyrically and across the album about that type of stuff that kind of falls in line with that. But I think in my future records under this moniker or under this character, I'll probably go a bit more in depth. This
Hmm.
was for me trying to do more of a cloud rap album.
It seems like Matt kind of took the lead on creating this project as sort of through the lens of these characters or these other personas. Would you say that you kind of jumped on board with that with Arthurr Sandbox as just a way to sort of also have more creative freedom or maybe feel like you could go different places than you would normally under Ray.wav?
Totally. Yeah, I actually don't I don't know if I would have even thought to give myself like a moniker in the early stages of the album. I honestly think you just like texted me, Matt, and you were like DJ Silenus and Arthurr Sandbox. And I was like, "Oh fuck, like yeah, that is cool." Cuz like
Mm.
that wasn't a character that I ever thought would like show itself, and it definitely did become like a way that I can make music like this because I don't think anyone's really heard me like use my vocals in this way or even be this prevalent on a record before. So it wasn't like a crutch. Like I didn't necessarily feel like I was hiding behind like this character, but I think subconsciously it did help like push that agenda because this isn't the type of music that I make normally and might not again. Like I don't there's like honestly this kind of happened magically, but I think there's a reason that at the end of the project, like it's like it says like DJ Silenus will return, but it doesn't say Arthurr Sandbox is gonna return because I
Mm.
don't know, like I don't think unless we make like a sequel to this album, like I
Yeah.
have no like I feel like I laid it all out, and that character is kind of fully developed in my eyes.
Mm. For those who might not know, the album was released over 3 consecutive weeks, with the first 2 weeks being two different volumes of three separate tracks. Can you tell me about the decision-making process behind rolling the album out that way? And if you want to add on, like, what went into the decision making process for which tracks would end up on these volumes and sort of the order that you wanted to release these. Can you just tell me a bit more about this sort of unconventional release cycle that you guys opted for?
I feel like how that came about is is we were kind of still finishing the album as these projects were coming out, like the packs were coming out. It wasn't all complete when they were dropping. And I think we just we wanted June to be our month, wouldn't you say, Matt? Like you were like, I think you were like, we just gotta drop it in June. Like we need to take over June,
Yeah.
basically. And so we're like, okay, we have like the skeletons of these tracks. Like let's finish these 3, send them out, and as soon as they were out, we're like, okay, we have 1 week to finish pack 2. So what do I gotta do? Okay, Gabe, we gotta do vocals on this. Okay, I gotta add production here. I gotta do, you know what I mean? Okay, that's done. Let's finish the last 6 for the last month. As far as why we did the packs, it was honestly, we went back and forth. I think when we were like, there was a moment when we looked at all we had to do where we were like, do we just drop it all? Like, I just think it was just an interesting way to roll it out that we just hadn't done before.
Well, I think when we came up, I can't remember who came up with the pack idea. When we came up with the pack idea, for me, in my eyes, it was like, okay, we only had like 6 or 7 tracks at this point. And I was thinking, okay, we could make like 2 more. And then we have 3 EPs of 3 tracks. We can cater each to have like their own specific sound almost. And it can be volume 1, volume 2, volume 3, right? And that's the rollout. But it was like, it got to a point where I think I told Gabe, we had like a certain amount of tracks. And I was like, okay, we're kind of dawdling around. Like we weren't really moving forward with the intensity and maybe like Poster Boy, which was done in literally 2 weeks. So I guess that was a little different, but that was our last creative endeavor together. And it's like, for me, I was like, this is kind of just sitting in the water. Like we didn't set a release date on it. We didn't know what we were going to do with these tracks. And I was like, yeah, we need to like kick it into high gear, because like even the early tracks like Pale Moonlight, like Soul Searching, I mean, Stockholm Beat was one of the first things that was made for this. Like the versions that were maybe done by like, or that we had at like end of May, middle of May, are nothing like the final version that's on the album. Like there's so much work that needed to be done. And I was like, all right, Gabe, we need to like lock in. And that's when I think I suggested, do we need to just drop it all in June? And that's when I came up with the pack idea, or we came up with the pack idea, because it was like, I feel like that'd be such a unique way to roll it out.
Yeah.
And then it wouldn't be an album, but it turned into an album. So
yeah, that's true. I kind of forgot about that there was originally just not going to be an album. We were going to do the 2 or 3 packs, I guess, of 3. And I think also just the world that we were creating, and like just the overall aesthetics, and the like, it's like a DJ soundboard is like laid over the entire album. And I feel like we liked the sound of Volume 1, Volume 2. Like we liked that it just, I don't know, it was just cool. We liked the idea. Honestly, maybe I can pull them up, but the original cover was like a CD. Like we wanted it to be like almost like analog, like 2000s kind of, like you'd find it in the back of a old store, like record store, you know what I mean? So I think we just liked how that sounded, and we were like, okay, well, let's form the rollout around that.
Once you knew that the final drop was going to be a full album and it wasn't just going to be a volume 3, how did you decide what the track listing was going to look like of that, since you'd already released those first 6 songs separately? Because in the end, it's not like the album goes volume 1, volume 2, and then the rest. The volume 1 and volume 2 songs are intermixed throughout and are sometimes appearing in orders, like songs that might have been first on volume 1, like Soul Searching, is actually ends up being later than Pale Moonlight, which came after it in the volume 1 track listing. How did you kind of come to the decisions of how these tracks were ordered?
I mean, I'll take the lead on this if that's okay, Gabe. I think we had the track list before the packs, really. Like at least I think I sent like a rough track list that was like originally, I think it was either 10 or 11 tracks at the end of like May, early June, I think, right? And we kind of, and you were like, this is kind of my exact track list. No, like we kind of had like the same vibes. for like what we wanted
No,
the
yeah, I
tracks to
honestly
be
didn't edit it at
ordered.
all, and I feel like also we were saying before, like we wanted the packs to work, to be their own little projects, right? And I feel like
Yes.
they worked together in the packs, but when you take them to the larger album, like they might not fit sonically. I just feel like the album has so much
Yeah.
movement to it. It just moves, and I think that if we just had it in order, it would not feel that way. It'd be like, okay, here's the 2 packs and then the extra songs. It wouldn't be like, oh, here's the full album.
Yeah, no, I just gotta say, like, I really enjoyed that that's how you guys ended up doing it, because when you get songs that are released ahead of time for, there are plenty of other artists who do things like this, um,
Yeah.
and then they end up, it's like the first half of the album, like you've already heard it before, you've already heard it in this order, and it kind of does something to change the impact that a full project coming out should have. And so I felt that the way that you intermixed the songs from the packs with the new stuff that we hadn't heard, the album cuts, so to speak, I
Yeah.
thought it was very effective. That's just my personal
Yeah,
belief.
I mean, I know so many people who, once an album comes out, they just skip the singles they've already heard. And I know people who did that even for this album. Like, my friends, they're like, oh, I've heard this. But I feel like it would have been 10 times worse if it was in the same order because
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know. I just feel like it helps. It, like, does something psychological where it feels
Mhm.
new still, you know? Because, yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, it was 12 tracks, so literally, yeah, half of it came out before. It was originally going to be
Yeah.
11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just thought about this now. I didn't even think about this literally until now because you were bringing up the fact that other artists have like done something similar to this. Kevin Abstract, Arizona
Yeah,
Baby.
that was my first thought.
That
Yeah,
was,
never
but
thought
those are
about
like
that.
sequential. There was
Hmm.
the way he released it. It was in the order of the album, and I always thought that
Yep.
was kind of lame. I'm not gonna lie. I
Mhm.
love Kevin Abstract, but like I don't know when you release like the 7 tracks of the album, and then there was like 5 or 6 new cuts in the back half. It just I don't know. We wanted the packs to be, in my opinion, they needed to be their own curated piece. Like Gabe was saying, we liked these songs grouped together. We liked the way they flowed, but in the context of the album, there was no way in my head that Soul Searching was ever going to be the first track.
Mhm.
Like
No,
in
yeah.
the album, I think it was a perfect way to start off the set the tone for like what DJ Silenus and Arthurr Sandbox is about. But when you're listening to the album, the way it flows, it's like it was intended to be an experience. Um, it's like, I mean, I think about the packs; they're like their own little things, but they're also like your singles. It's the first taste of the album.
Yeah.
Like we dropped 6 singles. Uh,
Yeah.
the first thing you want them to hear is not always going to be the intro to the album. You know?
Yeah,
Right.
and I remember talking about the first pack, and I think having making it its own little world is especially apparent on that one because it's like we were literally like, okay, Soul Searching #1, it's the taste of both worlds. Then let's do Heart to Heart. That's a all solo track with Arthurr Sandbox, and then we'll do Pale Moonlight. That's an all solo. You know what I mean? It's like here's them together, here's them separate. Next pack is just all us. You know what I mean? Like it just made sense to us to do it like that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk more about the process of collaboration between you guys and kind of how you worked on the songs. Um, did you find like a process or routine that sort of you used for the majority of the songs or maybe all the songs here? Or were kind of did it kind of just naturally evolve that some songs became Ray songs and other songs became Matt songs, so to speak, where like one of you was in charge of sort of handling this track and getting it finalized while the other person worked on XYZ? Like how were you guys working on these, and then was there variation across the album, or was there kind of an overarching process that you guys used? Could you speak to that?
Honestly, I feel like it's definitely more the latter. Like, it ended up being like pretty much across the board. If one of us started that track, we either had most of the vocals and production on it or all of it. Like, and I definitely towards the end when we were kind of rushed for time a little bit. We wanted to get it done. Like, we were like, okay, here's what we need to do. 2 different checklists. I need to add vocals for this. I gotta master this. And it was definitely set. But there's a lot of songs like "Talk to Me," for example, that you sent like a long time ago, and maybe there would have been vocals on it, like if the process was different, like as far as my vocals, but it just was naturally like it just became his song. Like there was no need for like me to have vocals on it.
Mm.
I think that's like the best way to describe it. If there's songs where one of us doesn't have vocals and the other one takes up the entire track, it was more of like a adding a Gabe verse or adding a Matt verse, adding a Silenus, adding a Sandbox verse here, just wouldn't make sense. I guess that's the only way to describe it. I think a lot of times we would each come in with like an idea or something we were working on. We'd hop on a Discord call, show each other it, and then be like, yo, send me that. I'm going to do something on it,
Mm-hmm.
vice versa. And then we'd send each other vocals, maybe add a little bit of production. And then sometimes we would do our own mixing on vocals. And then sometimes it'd be whoever's, first idea it was, they were doing a bulk of the mixing and then they would just do the vocal mix. Like sometimes I sent my vocals mixed and dry to Gabe, and sometimes he used my mix, sometimes he would do his own thing. And it was kind of just like,
Mm-hmm.
that's just how it worked. But like we were very clear about the similar ideas of what we wanted everything to sound like. I mean, nothing got passed unless we were both okay with it. So
Yeah, I want to hop right off of what you're saying there. Talk to me about the sonic through lines that you guys wanted to have through each of these tracks, because despite what it sounds like, where you guys kind of were working separately a lot, there is a lot of consistent sound here, in my opinion. And it's not like one song comes on and I go, oh, this is a Matt song, and another comes on and I go, oh, this is a Ray song. Like there are sonic through lines throughout the entire album. Talk to me about like instruments, plugins, genres, even effects. Like what were sort of what was the sonic mood board that you guys were using here, and what were those guiding lights that both of you drew from in order to have that consistency?
Honestly, that makes me really happy that you said that, because
definitely.
I said this a lot when we were making it. Like, one, I didn't know what it was going to sound like together, personally. I think you probably heard the full album more, because, like, I know you did, like, all those transitions you hear throughout the album. That was Matt. He did that. So he, like, heard it through probably more than I did. All the masters were on his computer, you know what I mean? Or at least, like, like the master file.
The final thing.
Was
Yeah.
on his computer. So a lot of it honestly felt like I was making a bunch of singles, and I think like the through lines. I just think we both knew what we wanted. Like we knew what we were inspired by. I think it would just, at least from my perspective, was just happenstance. And a lot of times he would send me something, and I was like I know what I need to do after this, or I know what I need to do on this. And that definitely motivated me a lot. I was inspired a lot by, like, I mean, there are differences though, I think, in who we were inspired by. I think that, like, I don't know, I feel weird sometimes talking about inspiration, but I think like the Jane Remover inspiration on your production is a little bit more clear. I was inspired a lot by the producer Gud, and
Mm-hmm.
his work with Real Young Phil. So like a lot of the songs that are just fully produced by me are a lot more. You'll hear like more sparse percussion. You'll let like Why Me is a perfect example. Like the sample just carries it, and I was like, I'm not gonna add much more to that. I'm not gonna add a bunch of synths or anything, because that's what I was inspired by. Like Good has so many like songs where it's like one tom hit for the snare, and that's the only percussion on the entire song, and it's just these like beautiful synths or samples playing all throughout. So I think like there are differences, but it was all in this like the same. It was all the same world. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, I know going into this album, I knew the environment it needed to be in or like sound like. Like when this music's played, it needs to be like you're transported to this dreamy kind of dark, desolate Stockholm street or something. Like
Mm,
I think I was sending the first thing I did was like send Gabe a few like these like very abstract, almost looking images of like a dark street from
yeah.
like this video game, bro, that I found. Like
Yeah,
I thought was sick.
that was
Like,
like way back before it was a collab album. You sent all that, and that definitely influenced the entire vibe. Yeah.
but that was my. I mean, that was in my head. I mean, in terms of inspiration, I mean, Blade, any cloud rap, Jane Remover's new project definitely inspired some of the percussion on songs like "Talk to Me," "Won't Change." I think those two were probably the perks. I was pretty inspired. I was also honestly very inspired by the recent Quedronol project. I forgot how to Deruda Rico or something. That song, like the percussion on that is fucking fantastic, and that was a huge inspiration to me actually. Like I just remember listening to that song on repeat and being like, this is hypnotic and this is like dreamy, but it's like beautiful. It's like these trap drums and these like silly a silly chant or something. But it's like in this hypnotic and trancy way. I don't know. That's just that's something specific that was very inspiring.
Hmm. Um, Gabe, you mentioned samples in how you approach the production here. Um, was sampling key to this project, and were there kind of any particular standouts as far as things that you sampled, or maybe samples that surprised you and how you were able to incorporate them? This goes for both of you, but obviously Gabe, that was a point of emphasis, it seems like.
Yeah, and honestly, I would almost say that Matt did more sampling than I did. Like, I think this was really great for him because I don't know how much you've done that in the past. At least not as prevalent as this album. Like, when it just seemed like every time we were on a call, you're like, dude, I'm like on Bandcamp right now. I just found this random song. Like, I gotta send this
Yeah.
to. Like, he
Mhm.
sent me the original sample for Heart to Heart, and that I honestly almost want to do a beat breakdown for that because the way that that was flipped was one of my favorite like things that I've ever done. I think like I
Mm.
reversed it and chopped it more and then reversed it again and just like so many layers and layers for just such a simple melody. And I mean, we knew going in, like we kind of had like a mental bucket list for this album, and I think having a lot of these like very ethereal samples was definitely one of them. And
Definitely.
one of the first songs that I made that ended up being on it, which was made before this was a real thing, was "Why Me," and I sampled a James Blake and Lil Yachty song, and it just sometimes it just comes to me like I was just literally playing video games with Adrian McAllister, also on the label, and it just came on in a playlist. I was like I have to sample this. Like I totally
Mm.
forgot about this song. Like I don't know. Sometimes you just know, and that's one of my favorite
Right.
moments on it. Um, Sampled Monday by Quedeca on Pull My Arm. That's one of my favorite moments because it's a little less obvious too.
I
So
didn't
it's
know. I
yeah.
didn't know.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I ever told you that. Yeah, it's like a
No, you told me. I
oh,
just
okay.
like when I listened to the song, I was just like, oh, this is cool.
No,
I
yeah,
didn't know
I
this
had to
fucking
like
existed.
isolate
No.
everything and be like, no, this is the part that I did. Yeah, I remember that. Um,
It
I
was
mean, it's
cool. It
just
was
always
cool.
so fun for me, and I think I'm doing it. I was doing it in this project different than I ever have because I've always loved it, but sometimes it came out through like very traditional hip hop beats that I would make and put on these like beat packs. So to have it be such a prevalent thing in this weird electronic uh, cloud rap album was very like it made me very happy.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, DJ is in the title. There's got to be
Mm.
some chops. There's got to be some samples in here. when I first came up with this moniker again back in August, I tried making music soon after, um, like relating to this, something like under DJ Silenus. And I remember I was trying to chop up like Claro songs.
Mm.
I remember that was something I was working on, but it turned out horribly. Yeah, but either way, yeah, I loved sampling on this project. I think, like, I remember it was so much fun working with Gabe because he's the sample god, bro. Like, and sending him that sample was so cool. Seeing how that track turned out, so different. I mean, there's sample like Silenus. That track has some sample from some random Bandcamp track, and it's just like the intro of the track. That's all I sampled. Like, and I just did as much as I could with that. Pale Moonlight's also some Bandcamp, couple thousand listen track. That's actually like a 7-minute long track, and I just kind of took sections of it. Um, there's other ones that have samples. I can't think of the top of my head.
Stockholm samples a Childish Gambino song, but I literally just like isolated his vocals, and it was just this one little, it's like a weird vocal chop. And if you pitch it up, you would probably be able to tell that that's just like Donald Glover saying "dubba dubba doo doo doo." I don't know. It's such a weird song, but I was like, yeah. That was I don't even remember what song. I think it was off of Because of the Internet. I sample Childish Gambino a lot. I did it on Forever's a While. I did it on our song Alex, The Feeling, and I don't know. Sometimes it's just like, if I'm inspired by an artist, I'm like, well, why don't I just like take that? Why don't I literally just use that inspiration and like literally, you know?
Mm-hmm. All right. I want to pivot away from sonics and toward lyrics and concepts and subject matter. I want to know, we talked about sonic through lines. I want to talk about sort of the conceptual through lines, if there are any here. I mean, you talked about this sort of the tone, which I guess could influence the lyric subject matter as well. But were there specific items that were also on the lyrical checklist, so to speak, that you wanted to run through this album, or was kind of each track just whatever it brought out of you is what came out?
Talk your shit, bro. Talk your shit. That's what we were doing on a good amount of these tracks, right, Gabe? Am
Yeah,
I wrong? It's kind of like,
the thing about the lyrics for me is it was the first time I didn't. Okay, so for context, like before this interview, we put together a whole big notes document of all the lyrics just so Alex can look over them and whatnot. And I literally had to like listen to the songs and write as I go, because half of them I didn't have anything written down, and half of them like were just changed so much that I didn't even remember, because like for me it was just like about the flow state more than the actual subject matter. And I think there are a lot of through lines for the subject matter, but it's all like about relationships, or like, I don't know, it's just like we kept going back to the same themes, but it was never anything we talked about. It was just about confidence. It was about just doing it. Like there were so many times he just sent me a beat, I was like, I'm just gonna do it, like I'm just gonna lay it down, and I've never done that before. So honestly, like, it was funny writing down all those lyrics, because sometimes I'm literally not, like, it's nonsense, like it's nonsensical, especially on Why Me. Like I say like pieces of me in the feng shui, which I'm not saying feng shui, I'm saying like function, like I'm just like making it rhyme, like it's nothing. Or like I'm saying bakla on my face, like baklava on my, and that was such a funny line too, because
best line on the album.
do I even say it? It's honestly a little embarrassing, like how that line came out, because I love that. I like originally meant it to be like balaclava on my face. I feel like Banksy. That was the line, because he hides his face. But then I like, it was like months, and then I re-listened to it. I'm like, oh, I'm saying bakla. Like that's not even, that's like bak. Like I was I confuse the two words. The baklava is the dessert, and then balaclava is the face wear. But Matt was like, "Oh, I thought you just meant like it was on your face, like you were eating it." And I was like, "Oh yeah, that worked." Like okay, like sure. I don't know. I was just really having fun.
He was like,
I gotta say, before I read the actual lyrics, I thought you were saying Montclair, like the brand.
Montclair.
But I was still picturing like a shiesty.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, like
I knew what you were
works.
going for.
That was definitely the vibe. That's just so funny. But yeah, I got the Pieces of Me reference from K&K on why I mean Pieces of Me.
I thought you were saying like bakla on my face. Yeah, I'm feeling tasty. I'm like, that's what I'm saying.
But that's so fun because like I don't know, it can be that like I don't like I'm saying like I didn't write that down. I just rapped it. So
But I
like,
guess the point what that you're kind of illustrating is it was more so about the swagger that you brought to it than anything that you were actually saying.
oh yeah,
Like
you could I
right,
could literally I feel like the way that we were doing vocals, it could have literally have been nonsense. Like how Yeet does, like just made up words every single bar, and you'd still feel something because it's just the setting of everything. Like I don't know, I'd never been this confident, and I think it's because I didn't have time to think about it. We had to get this out. I didn't have time to be like. At least that's how it felt. I was like, I don't know. I'm just gonna do it. I don't know.
Did that free Matt, you can speak to this. Did that free you of like a level of self-consciousness? I know that like sort of having these personas to work through was a way to like sort of free up your ability to explore different sonic areas. Was that true like lyrically as well?
For me, I mean, a lot of times is I would just get, I would smoke a joint, sit down at the like projects file and just play it and just do whatever. And sometimes, like Gabe is saying, it was just nonsense. Like a lot of times when I would send Gabe a track, there would be me just mumble. Like I would just be mumbling flows. It wasn't until the final project where I really went back and, or like maybe before the songs dropped, before I went back and like wrote some lyrics and kept some things that I liked. But a lot of my verses are and like hooks were just like one take, and I just liked what I had. I don't know. It was the energy, swagger. But I mean, going back and writing stuff, and there was some things that I did write, such as like the last song. There's a few songs I definitely wrote too, like intentionally. I definitely feel like there was lyrical themes that I was trying to push forward. Maybe isolation. There isn't really a lot of talk about like having people around. Like I don't know. It's kind of just like it's all about yourself. It's kind of like this very introspective, like egotistical trip, I guess, in a way.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I totally like. I don't want it to make it seem like I literally didn't know what I was talking about. Like I definitely picked up on a lot of that, and like stuff on like Heart to Heart. I spent a long time actually writing that. That was probably the one that I spent the longest. Like there was probably like close to 30 iterations of like my verse and everything.
You guys have like really talked at length about a lot of great stuff. I kind of want to end our conversation with some rapid fire questions. Like just a few words, just straight off the top of your head, whatever you think of first, okay? We can how about this? I'll ask the question, we start with Gabe and then Matt answers second, and then we kind of reverse it if that makes sense.
That sounds good.
Sounds good.
Does that work for you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Favorite song on the project? We'll start there.
Fuck. Silenus.
Okay, Matt.
Silenus or Sunbeams.
Yeah, honestly.
Okay. All right. Least favorite.
Talk to me.
What, bruh? No.
I know.
Stockholm, because Stockholm to me is barely a song. Stockholm is just an intro. Dude, you gotta talk about really quick.
Oh wait,
come on.
You gotta
talk about Stockholm. I'm sorry.
Right, this is a bit of lore. All right,
Okay.
yeah. Because like again, in the essence of this album being like how Gabe was saying earlier in the interview beginning, like we made the 3 tracks for pack 1, and then we're like, all right, next week we got to make the next 3 tracks, you know, finish them, right? Not make them. But that last week when we had the 6 tracks to finish for the album, Stockholm was like the last one to be done. That and like Why Me, I believe. I think those are the last 2, right?
Yeah.
And we're sitting down, we're in a Discord call. We're like, all right, we're gonna listen to the album. I have it all out in that one big project, right? All the tracks are laid in. I've already done all the fucking transitions. Like we're listening to it for the like this is the final listen before we export and submit this album, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we start Stockholm and we're listening to it. And originally, the Stockholm version only had the Gabe's bridge or his little verse, right? And once I heard that, I paused it and I said, I have to record something on this. And I had a verse written. Like, and I tried recording it a few times and I didn't really like it. So I stopped, closed out of Discord, or like stopped sharing my screen, recorded in like 10 minutes, and I was like, all right. And then we listened to it, mixed it in the master fucking file, like in the the master file. I did this all just in this giant projects file, and then we just went through the entire.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
That was crazy because originally it was like, okay, Stockholm should just be like an instrumental, and it was, the actual beat is actually really long. Like the original, it was like 4 minutes. So I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I'll just like go and do it. I'll cut it. And then I was like, okay, I could do like a little verse and have it be almost like a sample. That was the vibe for my little thing. I was like, I just wanted to be. And then he was like, yeah, I gotta do it. There was so many funny recording moments like that. I feel like for Silenus, like I was out of town. I wasn't at my setup, but I knew that pack 2 had to be done. And
oh shit!
And he was like, he texted me, he's like, dude, like I have to master this like today or tomorrow. Like, what do you do? I'm like, I'll do it. I promise I'll do it. So I brought my mic and I literally just plugged it into my work laptop and recorded it through Soundtrap. Oh, do you even know that, Matt? I just did it through Soundtrap.
Yeah.
And it had to be like it was like the free trial, so I had to do it. I had to like export it through an MP3 file. And it was just raw. It was just, it was so funny. It was like 12 a.m. I was just like, I don't know.
Tell me what you do.
Yeah, just in, yeah, just on the couch.
Sometimes those end up being like the best moments though, when you're like pushed to approach it unconventionally, right?
I mean, like I said, that's probably my favorite song. Okay, but back to rapid fire. I'm sorry, Alex.
All right, yeah, we got a little off track here. Okay, what was the easiest song for you guys to make? We can start with Gabe.
Why Me is up there? What, you go first. I gotta look.
Stay the Night.
Oh, that was easy for me. I just had to do one little thing and send it to you. So maybe that is the answer. Yeah, I didn't do any production. Yeah. All
right, we'll go with that. What about the hardest?
Would it be Sunbeams for you, Matt?
Yeah, it would be for me.
Heart to Heart. Yeah, Heart to Heart was definitely the hardest. I was so frustrated with that. I stayed up so late. Like, oh my god, Heart to Heart fucking killed me. I had a whole verse. Sorry, this is rapid fire. Go.
What is each of your strongest memories from working on the project?
Matt fucking calling me every single day when I was at like work and stuff, and like, dude, we gotta fucking finish this.
Yeah.
Matt,
Gabe and I just being in call, verbally stimming, bro. Just like saying whatever the fuck, bro. Like genuinely saying whatever.
There were so many times where I had to be like, "Yo, I'm fucking recording." Like I was like,
"No, whoa!" It was both ways. What do you acted?
All right.
Like you were saying some stupid shit.
If DJ Silenus and Arthurr Sandbox were scents, what would they be?
Menthol.
Menthol. Okay. What about DJ Silenus?
Like a fucking. This is awful, but probably like a fucking sewer, bro. I think it would be like something like grimy.
It's grimy,
Okay.
but it's also like high class though. Like I don't know. It's like it's elegant though. It's elegant grime.
It's like okay, it's like a sea fragrance, like
Yeah,
a
I can see
coastal
that. I can
fragrance,
see that.
like
'Cause it's
a
like you breathe it
that's
in,
what
you're
I-
like, oh, I'm at the sea, but it's also a little bit
yes,
like it's a little fishy.
A little fishy.
Yeah.
like a yeah exactly.
Okay. All right. Last question. I just want one word answers.
I'm
Okay.
sorry. I'm sorry. We're
One
going.
word. One word. One word. Describe what it was like working with each other.
I'll be on it. One word: easy.
One word. Easy.
This guy.
Yeah.
Gabe. Hey, no cop outs.
This guy.
uh, I mean, easy. Yeah, it was easy.
Bro, he would. If I said something different, he would.
No, I mean it really was easy.
Guys, that's all I've got. Thank you for sitting down with me and
Can I
sharing
change my
some of
word?
the. Yeah, change your word. We're completely
Intoxicating.
breaking the rules. Wow. Intoxicating. Okay.
Do your outro.
Okay. Wow, I'm a little flustered now.
Sorry.
It's a little steamy. in
Listen,
here.
it was a pleasure to be able to talk with you guys about this. I would have done this even if we weren't posting it anywhere because I just had I'm so curious about the process that you guys used. I mean, I'm such a fan of the album, sincerely. I've been having it on repeat since it came out, and so I just as someone who just loves music, like I feel like this is a music lover's project, and I couldn't be more proud to be your guys' friends, your guys' label mate. I'm so proud of you, and to be on the album on Sunbeams, that's also just
One of
a
the best
total honor.
tracks, bro. One of the best
Um,
tracks.
yeah, and just thank you guys, and I'm really glad that you guys were able to share some of this stuff.
Thank you so much for
Yeah.
doing this, man. That was so fun.